free college football picks, week 10, part 3. I'm Tony T here with our college football pick show here for action here on Wednesday. We're going to get you both games from the MAC here, and then we'll get you 8 for Saturday. We're going to remember there's 60 FBS versus FBS games this week. We're going to do them in 6 parts and get you 10 each day. So we're going to get you 10 games here, 2 for Wednesday, the rest of the 8 here for Saturday. Before we get started, just a couple things. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Free college football picks are updated all season long. Free picks every day from all the major sports. We also have NBA. We have also NFL, college football, college basketball coming up on Monday, World Series, and a lot more. It is a good time to subscribe. And also, if you would support our channel, give us that thumbs up like. We greatly appreciate it. Then visit Tony'sPicks.com. We're a multi-capper site showcasing top cappers in our industry. Click the link to the hot cappers. Get signed up to long-term passes. Cappers like Ramon, Mindy have been hot, as well as Nick has been on fire, Daniel, as well as Sam. Click the link and get signed up to some of our long-term passes. You'll find our premium picks on the center of the page. Our best bets here, click in the tab here. Each capper can release a best bet per sport per day. You'll find them there. $15 premium pick is there. So pretty much to cappers to showcase their services to new and existing customers with that $15 pick. And of course, the popular 3-packs, good value there. So check them out over at Tony'sPicks.com. Of course, our promo code, you can save 20% off all premium pick packages. When you use that promo code TonyT at checkout, you can access our page by clicking the link in the description, then clicking the All Cappers tab to get signed up. Also love to hear from you guys, so post your picks in the comments below. We are looking for cappers. You can apply at Tony'sPicks.com as well. And of course, our podcast. Every pick is in podcast form at Tony's Picks. Available on all major platforms. Just search your favorite platform for Tony's Picks, subscribe, and listen to our podcast when it's most convenient for you, when you can't watch the videos, when you're commuting, or you drive home, drive to work, the gym, you're walking your dog. Tony's Picks podcast, available on all major platforms. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get this one started. Central Michigan versus Northern Illinois college football pick. This game is on Wednesday. Central Michigan sits at 2-6 with their 34-18 home defeat to Bowling Green. Chippewas gained 306 yards in this one, 102 rushing on 29 attempts. On defense, they limited the Falcons to under 3 yards per attempt with 253 passing on 49 attempts. Daniel Richardson, 3 of 5 for 19 yards, replaced in the game. On the season, he has a 56% completion rate, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks, 6.1 yards per attempt. Jace Bauer came in relief, hit 72%, a touchdown pick, 7.4 yards per attempt. The sophomore had some mop-up duty during the season. This year, Bauer, 67% completion rate, 8.2 yards per attempt. Illinois fell to 2-6 with that 24-17 road defeat at Ohio. Huskies posted 377 yards, 267 rushing on 48 carries. Defensively, they allowed nearly 5 yards per rush, 200 passing yards on 28 attempts. Rocky Lombardi has been hampered by injuries, has missed 4 of the past 5 games. His status is doubtful for Wednesday. Justin Lynch completed 50% in the loss, 6.1 yards per attempt. The Temple transfer this year has a completion rate of 52%, 6.2 yards per attempt. NIU's run game generating 4.9 yards per attempt, and CMU just 3.7 yards per rush. Bauer posting the better passing numbers. Play here will be Central Michigan +4. Western Michigan versus Bowling Green college football pick. This one here is on Wednesday. We got West Michigan here with a mark of 3-5 with their 16-10 road win at Miami, Ohio. The Broncos gained 304 yards, 181 rushing on 45 attempts. Their defense limited the Red Hawks to 3 yards a carry and 222 yards passing on 38 attempts. Drayson Bourget in his first start, 16 of 33 passing, 123 yards. The freshman had seen no prior action. Bowling Green has a record of 4-4 after their 34-18 road win at Central Michigan. Falcons posted 369 yards with 116 rushing on 41 carries. On defense, Bowling Green held the Chippewas to just over 3 yards a carry, 204 passing on 30 attempts. Matt McDonald's season high is 86% completion rate, 12 yards per attempt. He did pass for 2 touchdowns against the Mac McDonald, a 60% completion rate, 7.7 yards per attempt. Quarterback situation for Western Michigan. The concern here, the play here, Bowling Green -4.5. Middle Tennessee State versus Louisiana Tech college football pick. This one is on Saturday. Middle Tennessee State improved to 4-4 with their 24-13 road win at UTEP. Blue Raiders gained 378 yards with 113 rushing on 35 carries. On defense, they held UTEP to 3 yards per carry with 191 passing on 35 attempts. Chase Cunningham, 78% completions in the win, 9.8 yards per attempt. He threw for 265 yards and 3 touchdowns. Louisiana Tech, they dropped to 2-6 after their 42-34 road overtime defeat at FIU. Back-to-back overtime losses for Louisiana Tech. The Bulldogs gained 440 yards with 184 rushing on 41 carries. On defense, they limited the Golden Panthers to just over 2 yards a carry with 321 passing yards on 48 attempts. Parker McNeil missed the FIU game with an injury. With the backup out for the season, the Bulldogs went with the third string Landry Liddy. The freshman completed 70%, 256 yards, 6.4 yards per attempt. Bulldogs pass defense has performed well. Liddy impressive in his debut play here. Louisiana Tech plus 2.5. New Mexico versus Utah State college football pick Saturday. New Mexico fell to 2-6 with that 41-9 home defeat to Fresno State as they hit their bye week. Lobos gained only 138 yards, 87 rushing on 27 carries. Defensively, they allowed the Bulldogs nearly 6 yards a carry, 225 passing yardage on 29 attempts. Justin Holiday was inserted as the starter, went 8 of 15 for 37 yards. He saw action at Wyoming, going 1 of 4 for 15 yards. Starter Miles Kendrick has been ineffective, 59% completions, 3 touchdowns, 7 picks, 6 yards per attempt. Utah State, they're 3-5 after their 28-14 road defeat at Wyoming. Aggies and Mountain West Low, 217 yards, 113 rushing on 36 carries. On defense, they gave up 6.5 yards a rush to the Cowboys, 199 passing on 26 attempts. Starting quarterback Levi Williams has been injured throughout the season. He's thrown a total of 15 passes. Bishop Davenport in the loss to Wyoming completed 65%, 4 yards per attempt. Two teams with issues at quarterback. Lobos have scored 9 points in their past 2 games. Average the play will be Utah State and New Mexico under 43.5. Syracuse versus Pittsburgh college football pick. This one is on Saturday. Syracuse drops to 6-2 after that 41-24 home defeat to Notre Dame. Orange gained only 286 yards, 61 rushing on 25 carries. On defense, they gave up nearly 5 yards per rush to the Fighting Irish with 116 passing yards on 19 attempts. Starting quarterback Garrett Schrader was injured in the game as the backup took over. Carson Del Rio Wilson completed 50% in the loss, 8.6 yards per attempt. He had a touchdown, a pick, and 190 passing yards. Pittsburgh 4-4 after that 42-24 road defeat at North Carolina. Panthers offense posted 367 yards. They ran for 131 on 30 carries. Defensively, they limited the Tar Heels' run game but allowed 388 passing yards on 45 attempts. Keenan Slovis, a season low 45% completions, 7.6 yards per attempt. This season, a career low 58% completions, 5 touchdowns, 5 picks, 7.5 yards per attempt. Orange lost a corner, a key corner, and their quarterback situation a major concern here. The play here will be Pittsburgh minus 3.5. UCF versus Memphis college football pick. This one goes off here on Saturday. UCF improved to 6-2 with their 25-21 home win to Cincinnati. Knights offense produced 505 yards, 258 of it rushing on 52 carries. Central Florida limited the Bearcats' ground attack to just 2 yards a carry, and they gave up 298 passing yards on 46 attempts. Jason Plumlee questionable after a hard hit knocked him out of the game. The Ole Miss transfer came in. The Ole Miss transfer, I should say, a 64% completion rate, 11 touchdowns, 6 picks, 8.7 yards per attempt. It was Mikey Keene who came in relief and completed 71%, 8.4 yards per attempt. This was the first action of the season for Keene. He saw action in 11 games last year, completed 63%, 6.4 yards per attempt. Memphis, a mark of 4-4 after their 38-28 road defeat at Tulane. 3 straight losses for the Tigers. They produced 415 yards, 103 rushing on 33 carries. Defensively, they surrendered 4.5 yards per rush, 158 passing on 29 attempts. Seth Hennigan, 63% completions in this one, 7.6 yards per attempt. He had 3 touchdowns, 2 picks on the year. Hennigan, about 65% completion rate, 15 touchdowns, 5 picks, 8.1 yards per attempt. Knights are moving the football on the road here, averaging 538 yards a game, 389 yards a game, and running for 5.1 yards per rush. But their defense on the highway allowing 5.3 yards a carry, which should open up the Tigers' passing attack. Keene a capable replacement for Plumlee. The play here, UCF and Memphis over 59.5. Penn State versus Indiana college football pick Saturday. Penn State fell to 6-2 after their 44-31 home defeat to Ohio State. The Lions moved the football for 482 yards with 111 rushing on 33 carries. Defensively, they held the Buckeyes to 4 yards per rush, but allowed 354 passing yards on 34 attempts. Sean Clifford, 68% completions, 7.9 yards per attempt in the loss. Clifford threw for 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. On the year, Clifford, 63% completion rate, 7.8 yards per attempt. Indiana, they're 3-5 after their 24-17 road defeat at Rutgers as they hit the bye week. Hoosiers gained only 272 yards, 62 of it rushing on 19 carries. Defensively, they allowed nearly 4 yards per rush with 113 passing yards on 24 attempts. Connor Bazelak, 56% completion rate, interception, and only 5.1 yards per attempt. Season-wide, Bazelak, career lows, 55% completions, 5.6 yards per attempt. The Lions have struggled defensively on the road, giving up 468 yards, 5.3 yards per rush, 266 yards passing. Play here will be Indiana, the plus 14. Michigan State versus Illinois college football pick. This one goes off here on Saturday. Michigan State moved to 3-5 after that 29-7 road defeat at Michigan. Spartans offense produced only 252 yards, 37 rushing on 23 carries. Defensively, they allowed about 5.5 yards per rush to the Wolverines with 167 passing yards on 26 attempts. Peyton Thorne completed 57% in the loss, 7.2 yards per attempt. This season, Thorne 64% completions, 7.2 yards per attempt. Illinois, they're now 7-1 after a 26-9 road win at Nebraska. Final Illini pushed across 367 yards, 188 rushing on 48 attempts. Defensively, they limited the Cornhuskers to just over 2 yards a carry, 188 passing on 24 attempts. Tommy DeVito, season high here, 91% completions, 2 touchdowns, 8.1 yards per attempt. On the season, DeVito career high is here, 72% completions, 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 7.3 yards per attempt. Final Illini shutting down opposing offenses. They have allowed 201 yards and 5.8 yards per game at home. On the road, the Spartans surrendering 478 yards, 292 passing, and 8.2 yards per attempt. Michigan State is allowing 32 points a game on the road. The play here, Illinois, minus the 15.5. UTSA versus UAB college football pick. This one goes off on Saturday. UTSA improved to 6-2 with that 31-27 home win in North Texas. Roadrunners gained 495 yards in this one, 257 rushing on 54 carries. Defensively, they stuffed that Mean Green run game just 1 yard per rush. They did allow 325 passing yards on 31 attempts. Frank Harris completed 69% in the win, season low 6.1 yards per attempt. He had 2 touchdowns and a pick. Season to date, Harris 69% completion, 17 touchdowns, 6 picks, 8.5 yards per attempt. UAB fell to 4-4 after their 24-17 road defeat at FAU. Blazers pushed across 472 yards, 280 of it rushing on 42 attempts. On defense, they allowed nearly 5 yards per carry, 18 passing on 25 attempts. Starting quarterback Dylan Hopkins missed last week's game with a concussion, and he's listed as doubtful. Jacob Zeno completed 56% in the loss with a touchdown, just 6 yards per attempt. This season, Zeno, he saw some mop-up duty during the year, so his numbers now are 50% completion rate, 5.3 yards per attempt, 2-game losing streak, and the Blazers are averaging 17 points a game with that Hopkins injury. Roadrunners moving the football for 486 yards on the road. Play here, UTSA at -1. West Virginia versus Iowa State college football pick. This one goes off here on Saturday. West Virginia fell to 3-5 after that 41-31 home defeat to TCU. Mountaineers gained 430 yards in this one, 155 rushing on 40 carries. Defensively, they allowed over 5 yards per rush, 341 passing on 28 attempts. JT Daniels, 59% completion rate, 7.1 yards per attempt. He threw for 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. On the season, Daniels' career low here, 63% completion rate, 6.7 yards per attempt. Iowa State 3-5 after their 27-13 home defeat to Oklahoma. Cyclones gained 374 yards in this one, on 20 with only 66 rushing on 27 carries. Defensively, they did limit the Sooners' passing attack, but gave up 182 rushing yards on 47 attempts. Hunter Decker's 65% completion rate in the loss, 5.4 yards per attempt. He did throw for 308 yards with 1 touchdown and 3 picks. This season, Decker's his completion rate is 67%, 14 touchdowns, 10 picks, 6.7 yards per attempt. On the road in conference play, the Mountaineers averaging only 15 points and 298 yards. That's against the Big 12. Big 12 road conference games, those numbers have been poor. Defensively on the road, West Virginia giving up 298 yards passing, 8.8 yards per pass attempt. Play here will be Iowa State here at -7. That was our college football pick show here for Wednesday. That was week 10, part 3. So we got 30 games. We got half the games in for you. We'll have the next half of them the next 3 days. We'll do 10 a game, 10 a day. We did 10 a day here today. So keep tuned to our channel. Like and subscribe. Set notifications when we're live. You're live with us. Our morning show at 9 a.m. East time is Morning Steam. A full rundown of a full rundown of NBA, hockey, and more, as well as college football and NFL is covered on that show. So make sure you tune in. And of course, don't forget to visit Tony'sPicks.com to get the best bets from our handicappers and our podcast, where you can listen to all our shows there if it's more convenient and for your commutes. I'm Tony T. We'll be back later on with more picks.